Whoa, 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 whoa. 5-0. Absolutely. As we roll on with this early yet productive and profitable, depending on where you've been looking, Philadelphia Eagles season. I mean, my goodness, the Birds handle a difficult, rough, ugly football game. Not many people on the squad were happy with it by any means. So when you look at, and rightfully so, because it wasn't a pretty game and it wasn't well executed, but you know what? It was a victory on the road in the National Football League. And there are a couple of things to look at, but it is amazing. First and foremost, how many people downplay, and I get it because they're not an integral part of the physicality of the game, but how many people downplay the kicker position? And I'm just going to tell you something here. Jalen Hurts, the offensive line, Hassan Reddick, Kazir White, the defense, these units definitely did their part. And there's a reason why the Philadelphia Eagles as a team outplayed somehow the Arizona Cardinals, who just insisted on losing that football game multiple times over. But there is also an element of just being a little bit smarter and just having a little bit better of a plan. And the Philadelphia Eagles had a better plan. Let me present to you Dicker the kicker compared to the other side of this, which is Matt Amendola. And it pains me, as it should you, to hear this, because Matt Amendola, local tie, pains me to say this. But folks, I want you to just think about this here. The Philadelphia Eagles saw Jake Elliott go down. The Philadelphia Eagles needed a backup plan ASAP. And the Philadelphia Eagles went out and grabbed a guy with tape, right? Because everybody's got tape. That's the thing. You know, like everybody, I don't care if you've kicked in the World League of American Football, you've got tape. So the Philadelphia Eagles did that. And they saw, you know what, this makes sense. A lot of what we're doing here makes sense. Let's go out and get Dicker. And, you know, the Cardinals, on the other hand, well, they went out and they got a guy who was cut by the Chiefs for missing key kicks, including in the Colts game with a loss. All right, let's go out, bring in somebody far more intelligent, smarter. G. Cobb, Birds Report. What's happening? Garry Cobb everywhere, Fox 29 on Twitter as well. What's up, my friend?
How you doing?
Well, just trying to make sense of this here, because I think, and I was a little bit before you on Monday morning, an hour or so before you, and Alex brought up, which I'm sure she did with you as well, because I was in the car, so I apologize. It's not like I purposely missed your segment, Chief, but I was in the car driving home. But she brought up the word luck, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how many times can you go back, including 2017, and find a team that was good on paper, good on the field, ended up good in the regular season and even in the postseason, that wasn't lucky?
Well, yeah, it goes along with it, but you kind of create your luck. I mean, you got to play well enough, so it's a close game. Now, the Eagles did not play their best football. Okay?
No.
That's clear. They didn't play the best football. But, you know, this is a game where you run into times where it's hard really the whole year to stay up and playing your best football the entire year. But you got to be able to find a way to win games where you don't play your best. And really that's what they did, which is they executed down the stretch. And, you know, they got a three-point lead, and they were able to hang on to it. And it was a game in which really, you know, the clear thing is the Cardinals screwed up, you know. And that's not necessarily lucky, because teams that are mediocre screw up. You give them an opportunity to screw up, and I thought that's what they did. But it was a tight game, and they're going to play those kind of games. But you know what this does is, because they won it, that's going to give them the confidence so that, you know, mentally going forward, you play with a lot more confidence because you found a way to win a close game. So you get in another close game, which the Cowboys game is probably going to be close with the way the defenses play. So, you know, playing a game, you're not going to lock up. And they didn't really choke that game. They went in and let the Cardinals choke.
Right. And that's the thing, isn't it? Like, the mistake that Kyler Murray makes at the end, where he slides just a yard short and then spikes the football to lose it down. Cliff Kingsbury at the end of the game. Kyle Shanahan didn't have that problem yesterday. Sorry. Cliff Kingsbury at the end of the game spoke about how this was, like they actually benefited from the spike because they didn't have a plan in place. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, even if that's the case, G, doesn't that speak even louder to how are you not prepared in these types of situations, especially in a tight football game at home?
Yeah. I just don't like, Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. I don't like the leadership there. You can see where at times they're arguing with each other. You got some things where Kyler Murray seems like he's having a riff with his teammates, where he's always, complaining about whatever, anything one of the receivers does. Of course, they're always wrong and he's right, even though he doesn't like studying the film of the opposing team and everything.
Right.
But Kyler Murray, very talented. You can't deny the guy is a major talent, but you got to do the extra work. You got to pay attention to detail. So that's where it ended up biting them, because he slid and he really should have went ahead and got that first down because he slid early. And it was the type of situation like once he did that, then, to get up and spike the ball, to put them in a situation where they got no choice, they got to kick the ball. They got to put their whole future, or at least of the outcome of that game, they got to put it on that kicker's foot and then to look at it before the game. Now, that was great. I thought, the TV coverage where they showed him missing right.
Amazing.
And then he goes right out there and that's what he does.
And it's partly like you out there, you being the Arizona Cardinals, saw the tape. I mean, they talked about this the whole time leading up, right? Like Nick Sirianni showed the team tape of this kid, Dicker, kicking, and they went out and they got him. Did the Cardinals not see tape? I mean, Andy Reid, Andy. Andy Reid let this young man go. And I don't even know how old he is, but he's younger than me. Let Amendola go because he missed key kicks. This is regular season, non-division game against the Colts. And he let a kicker go. And I'm thinking, man, Arizona, like, I get it. But like you said, bad teams just keep making bad decisions, either from personnel or on the field.
Yeah, you got to be willing to go the extra mile, and that's where you got to get Howie. You got to give him credit. Howie Roseman did a terrific job during the offseason. You look at the people that he's brought in here. He did a great job of bringing in professionals. James Bradbury is a professional. He's great to have a guy like that around your young players because he's all about business. This is not something a hobby for him. You go in there in the locker room, you see this dude is about going through study of the other team. And, you hear it out of Jalen too. You got to have that kind of environment because, look, this is not a hobby. Some guys want to treat it like a hobby. Dude, this is not no hobby. You better know what you're doing. See, and they have that atmosphere around the team where, look, we're counting on you. We don't want to hear, I thought. We don't want to, no, you better know what you're supposed to do. And clearly that was the difference in the game because Kyler Murray, he doesn't get it. If they got to beg you to study, come on, man, what is up there? I got a teammate, you're the quarterback, and I got to beg you to study film and go like, well, I'm not really a film guy. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you get to stepping? Because we need somebody who knows what they're supposed to do when there's the detail of the game. And the Eagles have got to play, they could play better. And I didn't really like a lot of the calls. I thought they abandoned that running game early in the first half. They knew they were going to get zone defense from the Cardinals, and they also were going to be blitzing. Now, you see a lot of blitz, and they're playing zone. Well, you can't abandon what you do best. The Eagles can run the ball. Don't get away from running the ball, see? You can't get to where you're just going to throw the ball every down because even as good as and much as they have improved, then you're doing the other team a favor. You go ahead and you still don't get away from that running game because it's something about it from a mentality standpoint that you just develop a confidence when you go, we're running the ball. Hey, look, I got news for you guys. You tell the defense, look, we're running the ball down you guys' throat.
That's what they did, right? That last drive. I mean,
that last drive,
15 plays, 20 minutes, however long it was. It just felt like that slow suffocation scene, right? Like where the bad guy just gets choked out at the end. And
That's right.
You could just see that, you could just feel that domination coming through the screen. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. We saw this last year where when the Eagles are doing that, even without Mailata, Jason Kelsey gets hurt, like the mentality doesn't stop. The ability to maul doesn't stop on the ground. They're at their best when they're just putting people on their back.
And, you know, it's amazing, you know, the way they have been able to, you know, develop, you know, the backups to where they could come in. And a lot of times they don't miss a beat. They just continue. It's the whole thing is like we're thugs. We're gonna come in here and we're taking over this corner. Okay, we're taking over this corner, and if you can stay here, you're gonna get your behind whooped in front of your family. So
right.
So I like that mentality that they have, and they really have got something there. Because when a team does that to you, come on, they're taking away your heart, your manhood, everything, right in front of everybody. Guys get, you know, demoralized when a team is running the ball down your throat and you can't do anything about it.
Yep.
So it really is something that they have, and really that's the special thing about this team is look at the different ways they've won. You know, you had the game where, you know, you had Darius Slay shut down Justin Jefferson, and he came in and everybody's talking about Justin Jefferson. What they put the blanket on him and shut him down. That shows, you know, how good the secondary the Eagles have. Then you have, you know, where they took over there, where the defensive line gets 9 sacks. I mean, come on, 9 sacks, you know, against Washington, showing you that defensive line can take over again. Then offensively, we've seen the same thing where, you know, we've seen, you know, AJ do his thing and Devontae. So you got special group of wide receivers who could take over a game. And we've seen, you know, Jalen playing his game and Miles, all of them. So all the different areas of the team except one. And that's what we need to, we got to get straight, which is those special teams.
Right.
We need to go have a coach. We got to have a talk with that special team coach. Dude, look. Homeboy.
Coach Clay, man. He's a good dude, a good coach. I'm surprised a little bit about this too. I mean,
got to step it up. I mean, you know, you had some punts dropped.
Right.
That's a problem. You got them running a fake on the punt return team.
Yeah, come on.
Successful fake.
Right. Come on. You're right. That was pretty disappointing. I'll give you that.
That kind of thing, that's what costs you games if that doesn't stop. And so the special teams has been the one area of the team that hasn't been performing on the level, this elite level that everybody else is performing on. And that's where, you know, guys go, hey, man, you guys got to pull up your weight. I mean, Zach McPherson, he's been playing very well on the special teams.
Yep.
But there's been some shaky stuff, you know, and no, speaking of special teams, I got to give my man Dicker, the kicker.
Oh, my
God. Got to give him his props because he did. You know, we were wondering if it came down to him, and it came down to him, and he did his job.
It's amazing. No, it absolutely is. Gee, I appreciate you big time, brother. Thank you, sir, for popping on with us. I know you're everywhere. Twitter, Fox29, gcobb.com, right?
That's it.
Okay.
All right. Check me out, and hey, this could be a special year.
It feels like it. It feels like it. Now,
and what about the Phillies?
Well,
I mean, for them to come back in the ninth inning in that first game, man.
Historic. This team is full of historic stuff. Like every week they're doing something new.
That was a special thing. Hey, that's probably got all these other people. They're down there. Folks are putting money. Says, man, it's a lucky time for Philly. So
that's right.
Guys are headed down the shore trying to make some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Gee, appreciate you, brother. Thank you, sir.
Hey, have a good one.
All right. You too. That's G Cobb, the legendary G Cobb, popping in with us. So we appreciate him joining us, and a lot to look at, including our 3 big keys here. Hear from some of the sounds really of this game, because it was amazing to watch it, I'm sure, but also to hear it now the next day, right? Like the kicks, Dicker the kicker, as well as Amendola. I mean, this was ridiculous.
And tie this up with 22 seconds remaining.
Unbelievable to see this. But yet,
it's out there. Unreal. And it's no good in the direction he had trouble with before the game. Spiking the ball and leaving a long kick. Well, just incredible. And that tendency that he had in pregame carried over here into the game. But you're absolutely right. Had an opportunity to get that first down. And then, oh, geez, you just can't do that. You can't go and strike the ball after that play.
You know, that's it. That's the biggest key right there to the game. The fact that you got, from a kicking standpoint, an absurd boost, like a major boost over the other team. And G's right. Like, you took advantage of some really important circumstances. The fact that the Arizona Cardinals blew it when it came to replacing a kicker. They blew it. Matt Amendola was not in. That was a huge mistake. And the other mistake was this.
With the roof closed, natural grass field. Murray is going to run them into position. Sliding, let's check that spot if it's at a first down.
You saw that was short. Right away you saw it was short.
When he gave himself up, and they're going to mark it a little bit short, so you spike it. Now you have to kick.
Yep. And you knew that right away. It was a parlay of idiocy, right? I mean, it was a two-leg parlay of idiocy right there for the Arizona Cardinals. Failing initially to address properly, at least, the ridiculous kicker situation. By the way, the Eagles not only addressed it, but they knocked it out of the park, if we can borrow one from the Phillies right there. And then you had Kyler Murray clocking it late after sliding short. It was awful. And you know what? The Philadelphia Eagles took advantage of it. All right? The Philadelphia Eagles took advantage of everything out there, including, once again, Jalen Hurts.
Catch made. Hollywood Brown trying to shake loose, and he does. To the end zone. That's going to be a Cardinal touchdown.
At that point, you're thinking, whoa, 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 what's going on? Fox here, of course, and all these calls. Like, what's happening here? Now, all of a sudden, you've got a game. Now, all of a sudden, you've got an opportunity here for the Philadelphia Eagles to let this thing slip away. There was nobody. I don't know if there's anybody right now in the NFL, really, this year, that you want to rely on if you need a victory.
It's impressive. You don't
like, think about that. All right, now, hold on a second. I just want you to understand, like, this was a monster game by Jalen Hurts. And the second key here was Hurts and what he did, his composure and leading this offense. That charge down the field, we'll talk about the third one, the biggest one of the game, but leading up to it, Jalen Hurts was a monster on the field, and those touchdowns, huge.
It's impressive. You don't even get those. Look at this lineup in the backfield. You don't even get those third quarter numbers. Hurts. Touchdown. Eagles.
Just pushing him in.
Jalen Hurts.
Get your ass in there.
Powering his way up. And you see Kenneth Gainwell lined up here in the backfield. This is just that running back going to push the quarterback across the goal line play, and Goddard.
That's awesome. Awesome to see that. Now, how do the Philadelphia Eagles manage to squeeze the life out of the Arizona Cardinals at the end of that game? It's the offensive line.
Yeah, they worked their tail off. They're coached by the greatest to ever do it, Coach Stout. And regardless of the pieces that go in and out, it's interchangeable. And those guys played their tails off given the circumstances. A lot of them were put in. Jack, Opeta, Cam having to be ready when his number was called. Everybody. So it's a great example of accountability and everybody being ready when their number's called.
You heard Driscoll's name mentioned, echoed by Nick Sirianni.
Jack Driscoll, man, I can't say enough about him. That he just keeps stepping into scenarios, right? There's naturally going to be bumps and bruises along the way on the offensive line. It's just so physical in there. And Jack Driscoll just continues to come in and play big time, big moments.
Huge.
I'm so happy Jack Driscoll's on this football team, and he played a heck of a game.
Absolutely did. Absolutely. As Jalen Hurts said, Opeta. I mean, this team dealing with the injuries, the offensive line, rotations here because of guys going down. Absolutely the number one key to victory, and it's not even close. Not even close. So what happens now? Dak Prescott's back. Rust, how's he going to look? The Dallas Cowboys are cooking. This division is no joke right now. What happens moving forward? You want to earn your money as a top team in the NFL? It's simple. It's super simple. You want to earn your money as a number 1 seed, etc. You don't let down in division. Following this start, you don't let down. And you know what? They've had opportunities. The Arizona Cardinals game was a perfect opportunity for a letdown. Instead, it was the opposite. And that's going to carry them into this Cowboys game. The Cowboys are as good as Philadelphia is with a healthy Dak Prescott. You may not want to hear that, but they have built that as well. Without Dak, this game's a little different. But G said that at the end of our conversation about how this feels a little different this year. Nick Sirianni's talking that talk too.
You know, either teams throughout the year are going to come together or they're going to go apart. There's really no in between, right? And this team is continuing to come together because they love each other, right? They, you know, like what's happened with Cam. Like you asked me with Cam, they put their arms around him and welcomed him and made a big play when we needed it. And that's what's special about this team. We just got to keep it going.
Go Birds.